morning, just about dosage time. Deep inside my body, the meds start to unwind. Beginning to feel shaky, tremors start, you bet. Guess it's pretty obvious, it's time for Cinnamon. Down in my brain, out in the street, my dopamine's depleted and I can't move my feet. I had to give up driving, my placard verifies. Free parking is a bonus, my consolation prize. Maybe I'll look around a bit and see what else they got. Ritari shows some promise, Kaiser has it now, but down in my brain, out in the street, my dopamine's depleted and I can't move my feet. 3 drugs later, he's still frozen to the floor. Try new combinations, now it's number 4. MAO inhibitors, what the heck are they for? Maybe new medications opens up the door. Down in my brain, out in the street, my dopamine's depleted and I can't move my feet. Down in my brain, out in the street, my dopamine's depleted and I can't move my feet.
I just love dance, and I think the teachers do a great job. Today's class was really, I thought, very good. Working on, the different things we worked on today, especially trying to do the combinations of things. And what's that called? Coordination.
Yeah, coordination.
Coordination stuff was great, and they have such a good spirit. Both. The teachers just make you feel good being there. I delivered groceries, washed dishes, and cooked. I was an actor and dancer and performed more than 300 times a year for almost 3 years. I was a carpenter and built my own house. I was a computer programmer and manager and worked on code that helped put the first rocket on the moon. I managed a 250-bed homeless shelter and worked in low-cost housing. I saw the Taj Mahal glowing in the full moonlight. I've loved and been loved, and now I have Parkinson's. What's next?
How did you find the class?
I went to the seminar in San Francisco, I think. Parkinson's Institute, or I can't remember. And they had a booth there.
Well, I'm glad you came and everyone knows your name.
Yeah.
I always say we're like snowflakes. No two of us are alike. We don't experience the same symptoms, speed of progression, or reaction to meds. We're in uncharted water, not knowing what will happen to us next. I've got the so-called PD masked face where people may think that I'm mad or sad or sick. I try to smile more to compensate. I remind myself to stand up straight and not shuffle when I walk. When your symptoms get visible, you can't be private about PD anymore. A lot of us become shut-ins, not wanting to eat in front of people or we are uncomfortable fumbling with money, or just being slow. I like my PD groups where everybody knows your name and they're always glad you came. I look at other people with Parkinson's and compare their symptoms to my own. I once asked a stranger's wife if her husband had PD as I held the door for them. She said yes. I whispered, "Me too." Without hesitation, she replied, "God bless you."
Yeah.
And now the music's coming together with Mike.
Yeah.
Sarah's my great mentor for encouraging my flagging musicianship. So
Flagging, it's good.
that's not so easy sometimes, you know. So. No, but thank you for your encouragement.
This group helps, certainly has helped me keep a very positive attitude about having this disease. And now,
Parkinson's is thought of as a collection of physical symptoms, but it's really, as far as I'm concerned, a battle for the control of your mind.
Oh, that's interesting. That would be a good heading for something.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
That I was just thinking about it this weekend. It's like, it's my personal teacher challenging me to deal with things that I haven't dealt with or that are difficult to deal with, and asking me to approach it in another way because I have certain limitations.
I finally found a teacher that I can't ignore. Old Professor Parkinson's came knocking at my door. My hands started shaking, my body began to ache. The doctor said, "Here's a pill we want you to take." Doctor, oh doctor, give me the news. He said, "You've got the PD blues."
Really positive, or a drug that helps you get through the day.
Through the night, more specifically.
Through the night, and it was killing me. And I quit taking it, and my health actually improved. Now, you can't say anything about it, this causes that.
Right.
But what amazed me is I've been through 2 neurologists, both of which were excellent clinicians. One, and then we had to move because my job moved, and so had a second one. And I mentioned to them that I was extremely suspicious of this drug, and they both kind of said to me, you know, that's not a good drug.
PD diagnosis. PD diagnosis. At 50, I was feeling great. My family and I were going to kick back and enjoy ourselves. European travel, Hawaiian beaches, and restart a neglected social life. Instead, we learned that I had Parkinson's disease. There I was in the heart of my most productive years as a scientist, still passionately engaged with my wife and constantly delighted by our 2 super children. Nothing seemed wrong. In hindsight, this was the symptom-free period of late-onset PD. That's over. Some of my symptoms are minor. I lost my sense of smell. Much, much more serious is that before PD is done with me, it will crush both my ability and identity as a scientist. I can no longer take a steady income for granted. We are in an endless battle to get a long-term disability claim approved. What if the claim were denied? Costly meetings with a lawyer replaced any thought of trips to Europe. I fret with how we are going to pay for the education of my kids. Would we lose our house? We had an emotionally draining testing by a neuropsychologist. His job was to prove how dumb I had become and therefore unsuited to my work as a scientist. He succeeded. I'm qualified to answer the phone. PD affects every aspect of life. Dopamine drugs plus my new role as a dependent has taken the sizzle out of Saturday nights. Time spent with my son is not the idyllic father-son relationship I had once envisioned. I'm wrestling with depression. Maybe someone can answer this one. Does PD cause depression, or does depression make PD worse? I'll close with something positive. After intense efforts, some of the PD therapies work for a while. We're ready for more.
This lovely little Italian language class that I've started. 3 times, and each time I would write a huge flag and try to do a picture, which I can't, or anything to draw my attention to. Couldn't keep it in mind. I told him, my grown son, don't look so alarmed, sweetheart. It isn't that I've lost my memory. It's the when and the how much in kilos and pounds that escapes me now. The numbers that make up the year could be cardboard thrown on the fire for all I know. Where are the numbers filed? If you don't remind me of a sight, a smell, a sound, a touch, I won't be able to find them. And I'm beginning not to care whether it was this year or 2 years ago, as you tell me, marveling that I could forget. What difference does it make if I still have the substance, the mice in the larder, the smell of burning wood, the view of olive trees, and you, always you?
I take a lot more than that. But it works for me. And then on top of that, I have the deep brain stimulation surgery, and that helps too. It didn't help as much as it did when I first had the surgery. When I first had the surgery,
How long ago you had it?
I had it 6 years ago, 6, 7 years ago.
And you've had Parkinson's for
18. I'm in my 18th year.
Is that right?
18?
Yeah.
Wow.
Benny in good shape?
He's a poster boy for...
Yeah, but I'm still going downhill.
Yeah, but...
In just 11 days, I fell 3 times while walking around my block. A sprained thumb and swollen knee were the injuries from fall 1. Bruised the other knee on fall 2. After fall 3, I looked like I went 10 rounds with Muhammad's cement. A black eye, lacerated chin, and facial cuts were the injuries. Looking on the bright side, if I had been hit by a Smokin' Joe cement left hook, I would have been out cold. That's what people with PD do. We look on the bright side. This is my 17th year with PD. At the end of each year, I assess my rate of decline and think about where I may be during the next 5 years. So far, I've been lucky. The tremors, mobility problems, and the other annoying PD symptoms have been mostly held in check. I try to stay optimistic that a new drug, a new medical procedure, or a new exercise program are just around the corner. As I look down the road to the next 5 years, I wonder about my ability to stay positive and keep the beast at bay. The frequent falls worry me. Is my already compromised sense of balance deteriorating further? Will I need to use a walker or a wheelchair? If yes, with more decline inevitable, how do I keep up a positive outlook? At what point am I overwhelmed by PD? I don't know the answer to these questions. What I do see are other people afflicted far worse than I, still dancing, doing yoga, still going toe-to-toe with the beast. Can I do any less?
Decided I would sing, decided I would dance. Realized life is really worth taking a chance. So I picked myself up off of the floor and marched Professor Parkinson's back out that door. Doctor, oh doctor, give me the news, he said. You've got the PD blues. Doctor, oh doctor, give me the news, he said. You've got the PD blues.
And I was, when I first got Parkinson's, somebody came to me and said, somebody has cured themselves of Parkinson's doing Qigong. So I went.
I remember you with that thing.
Yeah, I explored it. And I remember, actually, there was a guy in our class, Howard,
Oh, yeah, I remember.
who had gone to Qigong, and he overheard me talking about it. And he just casually said as he was walking by, if you're going to do a retreat, you should do the 10-day retreat. That would be much more worth it for you. So so I said, because I was hesitating, should I do it, shouldn't I do it, should I do it? And then he brought me a book. And there was a few things in the book that made me say, okay, I'm going to do it. So I spent the first 2 years of my Parkinson's diagnosis doing Qigong pretty seriously and going to various retreats. And it was, what was informative and supportive for me was the idea that the mind can really bring healing to the body. And so, I know you all laugh at me, but I still believe that if you work at it, you can certainly slow the disease down. I'm aging, getting old. We all are. My body tells me so every day in oh so many ways. 4 years ago, Parkinson's joined me in this aging journey. Now, I can't tell whether advanced years or PD can claim my latest discomfort or disability. They become one and the same. However, something else has happened to sweeten this reality. A community of new friends that share this journey. I have met people whose paths never would have crossed mine otherwise. And what wonderful and delightful fellow travelers I have found. None of us knows what comes next, so we laugh, we commiserate, and we prop each other up when one of us droops. They teach me so much. Then there's my inner voice that speaks without my asking. Just go with the flow of this Parkinson's. See where it takes you. This is your journey, Joanna, not anyone else's. And so it be, the challenge that has chosen me, along with my fellow travelers. We thank you so much. But as with any challenge, I also get to choose, and my choice is to stand up to it. My mission? Keep my dopamine jumping and lively. I need to revive all those cells and nerve trails that want to give up. I also need to prevent all those unwanted proteins from gumming up the works. So, I am on the offensive from all directions. I laugh a lot, much more than before. I don't care what others think. I'm a kid at play. If I need to eat with my fingers in public, I do. I love, love, love my boxing and dancing classes. I stumble happily through piano pieces to keep my fingers limber. I practice my Qigong episodically to stay connected. I even meditate each morning, not an easy task. Every day, I claim my freedom, even as my body doesn't always keep up. For me, it's all about being spirited and joyful. It's how I came into the world, and that's how I want to leave.
I need to laugh, and when I trip and fall, I get up and get back on the ball. I feel good in a special way, 'cause I woke up to another day. Good day, sunshine. Good day, sunshine. Good day, sunshine. I take my meds, they keep the shakes at bay. Side effects may be the price we pay. I try to walk my my legs begin to freeze. Take a breath and finally move my knees. Good day, sunshine. Good day, sunshine. Good day, sunshine. I try to smile so I don't look too mad. Even when I'm feeling really glad, I take a breath, I let my thoughts fly free. I'm so happy you're still here with me. Good day, sunshine. Good day, sunshine.